and welcome back to Lady Jane Books. Today, I'm doing the Anti-TBR Tag. I have been so remiss on doing my tag videos. I literally have a list about this big in my phone of everybody that I've seen has tagged me and what they've tagged me in. Usually I only have about 3 outstanding tags and I like to keep it at a minimum. But I looked today and I have 14 tag videos that I've missed and I haven't done yet. So I decided to start in on cleaning that up. So I'm starting off with the Anti-TBR Tag. I was tagged to do this by Jeremy Fee. I believe Jeremy tagged me over a month ago. But I'm doing it now, and it's the thought that counts, right? Right. So basically this tag is about listing off books that you have absolutely no interest in, and I love doing that, so I'm really excited about this. So let's get started. Number 1. Name a popular book that everyone loves, but you have no interest in. For this, I am choosing Anxious People by Frederick Backman. Just the title alone makes me very nervous and not in a fun way, so I've decided this is just not going to be on my list. I believe that this one is about a group of people who are held hostage during a bank robbery, and that just does not sound like a fun time for me. No. Nope. Number 2. Name a classic book or author that you have no interest in reading. For this, I'm going to answer George Orwell, specifically Animal Farm. I read 1984 years ago back in my youth, and to be quite frank, it was painful to read for me at that time, and I looked at it again recently and it's still very painful for me to read. And I don't think Animal Farm will be any better in my opinion. I understand that George Orwell has a very strong message to his work and I'm all for that. And even back then I found 1984 to be very depressing and just heavy to read. And I'm pretty sure that Animal Farm has a very similar tone to it. So George Orwell books are just not for Jane. Number 3, name an author that you have no interest in reading. For this, I'm going to go with Mark Twain, and I have a very, very good reason why. When I was younger in school, we always had to do plays, and most of these plays were Mark Twain based. But the thing is, we had to do this repeatedly year after year, so I quickly got over Mark Twain stories. And even now as an adult, I look at this and I think that might have been interesting if I gravitated towards it willingly in my youth. But now as an adult, it's not really seeming to be for me. So for this one, I'm going to have to answer Mark Twain. Number 4, name an author who you read a few books of and decided they were just not for you. For this, I'm going to answer Holly Black. Holly Black is a very popular author amongst young adult readers. I have read several of her books. I read The Darkest Part of the Forest, as well as the first installment of The Cruel Prince. When I read In the Darkest Part of the Forest, I already didn't like it. I felt like it was incredibly slow moving and the characters weren't really very developed and just seemed like a lot of nothing was happening. But when I heard that she was coming out with a new fantasy series, The Cruel Prince, and everybody was talking about it, I decided to give her another chance. And unfortunately, The Cruel Prince was also not for me. I will say that Holly Black does write very good atmosphere, especially this like fairy tale, fantastical atmosphere, like an enchanted forest type of thing. She writes atmosphere beautifully. However, character-wise and plot-wise, these books are just really lacking for me, so I've decided to no longer consider reading Holly Black books. Number 5, name a genre you have no interest in reading. I really like fiction work. I like made-up stories and I like plot and characters and all this good stuff. But I've noticed that I really don't like reading nonfiction. Particularly memoirs and biographies, they're just not for me. I've read a few that were incredibly dry, and they were just kind of like a laundry list of things that happened to other people's lives. And while that might be interesting for some people, it was not interesting to me. So that unfortunately put me off of most memoirs and biographies. There are definitely some that I would love to read, including Gordon Ramsay's Humble Pie. I think that would be really cool. The Five, which is a nonfiction account of Jack the Ripper's victims, and several true crime books that could be very, very interesting to read. But on a whole, nonfiction memoirs and biographies are just not really my thing and don't really have a place on my reading list. Number 6, name a book you bought and will never read. For this one, I'm going with Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. I read I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zuzak, and that was okay in my opinion. It was fine. I read it. I enjoyed it. I'm over it. And I bought this when it was on sale on Kindle. And everybody raves about The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, which I did see the film, but I have not read the book because the book really intimidates me. And I feel to really appreciate Bridge of Clay, I should probably read The Book Thief, but I will probably never read The Book Thief either. Slow reader problems. Number 7, name a series that you have no interest in reading or tried and DNF'd. For this one, I'm going straight back to The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I did read the first installment of The Cruel Prince. However, I personally didn't like it and therefore chose not to continue with the series, even though I'm still hearing a lot of hype about this particular work. But no matter the hype, I don't see myself picking up any more installments in the Cruel Prince series. And finally, number 8. Name a new release that you have no interest in. For this one, I'm going with Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now this hasn't been released yet. I believe it's coming out in May. But my channel, my rules, I'm going to count it as a new release. I did read Andy Weir's The Martian, and I loved the humor in it. He writes really interesting, funny, sarcastic characters, so I enjoyed that part. However, there were instances where I felt like Andy Weir's writing was way too science heavy, and it kind of took away from the enjoyment of the book because I felt like I couldn't follow along with all the terminology that was happening. I'm a little nervous that Project Hail Mary is going to be very, very similar to that. Project Hail Mary has a very similar storyline, in my opinion, to The Martian. I believe it's about a man who is stuck in space and he has to complete a mission and he's the only one around in space all alone, and this mission is dire and for the sake of humanity. That would have sounded great if I hadn't already read The Martian. So unfortunately, Lady Jane will not be reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Next, I'm going to tag some people. I have no idea if these people have already done this tag. If you have, please let me know and I will definitely go watch it. But if not, consider yourself tagged. I tag Amretta by the Book, Kayla Lenzen, David's Book Reviews, and Books Yada Yada. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ooh, that just closed my eyes. Ooh, I got something in my eye when I did that. It was like an involuntary wink. So today I'm going to start off with the TBR. I am not. So George Orwell. Number 3, name an author that you. Holly Black is a very popular author amongst young adult readers. So I haven't put any really. I should have fixed my hair before I did this. Ah, Jane. Should have looked in the mirror first. Gosh, Jane. Number 6. And I bought this when it was on sale on Kindle. And everybody raves about The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, which I did see the film, but I have not read the book because the book really intimidates me. And I feel like in order to really appreciate Bridge of Clay, I probably should read... What's the book? I was just talking about Jane. Gosh. And I did read the first installment. I decided it's not for me, and therefore I will no longer be What was that, Jane? Wow. But no matter the hype, I don't think I will be picking up any more of the cool prints. Jane. Ooh, flowers. They don't smell. Okay. The cool prince. I'm so cool, I'm a prince. So unfortunately, I am going to skip the... It's not in my eye. There we go. All I want to do is sit here and smell pretty flowers, to be honest. That's all. The spring vibes are coming. The spring vibes are coming. And I was always cast as like the mother or the grandmother or, wow, I'm just noticing there's a theme here.